When you hear an Aussie accent, what comes to mind? Maybe Steve Irwin saying, "Crikey," or a mate asking if you want to chuck a Barbie this arvo. But that's just the surface. Australian English is a complex map of our history and our social identity. Unlike in the UK, where an accent can pinpoint your hometown, our variations are more about social class than geography. We have a spectrum. There's the classic broad accent. Think Paul Hogan, linked to the bush and a working-class identity. Then there's the cultivated accent, modeled on the BBC, which once signaled high status, but is now fading fast. Most of us, about 80%, sit in the middle with the general Australian accent you hear on the news. The accent you use can be a conscious choice, a way to construct an identity, whether at a professional meeting or a backyard barbecue. But the story of Australian English is incomplete without acknowledging its oldest influences. Aboriginal English isn't broken English. It's a distinct, systematic dialect, shaped by the cultural logic of First Nations languages. It carries words like yarning and mob, and is a vital marker of cultural resilience. Today, our language is in a tug-of-war. Thanks to global media, some Aussie kids say trash can instead of bin. That's Americanization pulling us towards one global voice. But Australian English pushes back. Our linguistic shield is our humor and our love of diminutives, shortening words and sticking an O or IE on the end. Avo, tradie, Barbie. These aren't just slang, they're social glue, a way to create an informal, friendly vibe. So, when you hear someone speak, listen closer. Don't just hear an accent, hear an identity. Language is a living map of who we are, where we've been, and where we're going. In its variation, you find the soul of communication.